Welcome to the ET335 Quartus VHDL Into presentation of Part A. Okay, here I'm showing you our starter program. I'm going to give you this in a file, and you need to upload it and do what I'll show you here in a second, and make sure that you have the pins correct, and then run it, and then see if you get an OR gate output. If you do, then you could take our program and modify it to do the rest of the lab. So this is our standard OR gate. This is the standard syntax for a VHDL. VHDL is very large scale integrated circuits, hardware descriptive linkage. So this is standard. IEEE is the Electrical Engineering Society, and we're going to call this OR gate. So it's very important that you make the project, the file name, and everything in our program OR gate W. Otherwise it's going to have a problem. So it's very picky. It needs all these to be the same. So you could change the name of your project as long as everything matches, but my suggestion is just modify this program, and that way you don't have to type it in and worry about syntax errors and other assorted errors. So this shows port, which is our input. So we got A and B in, A and B, and we're going to call our output LED. Okay, and eventually we'll go through and we'll set our pin numbers. Okay, so this is not graphic, this is going to be coding. And here is our code, the VHDL code. So we have LED, this is our symbol for equals. Not A is an inverted A. OR is our OR gate, not B. So we can't put in pluses and multiplication, other things. It needs to be text, just like I show here. Okay, let's build a VHDL file in our Quartus. So the first thing we need to do is go to our canvas and find the orgate.zip file and then download it to your desktop. Desktop seems to work best for this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to extract it. And I'm going to put it right back where it was. Good. And that's the only thing that should be in there is an orgatew.vhd. VHD is the VHDL file. Good. So let's go ahead and open up Quartus. And we're going to create a new project. And let's go ahead and go to our desktop. And let's grab our orgatew folder, and to save us a little time, I'm going to go in our folder, and I'm just going to go grab our file, and that's going to help us set the name. As long as everything matches, it's going to work. Now let's go to next, and we're going to go back and search for our file, and we're going to add it. So we got OR gate VHDL. Okay, and we're going to go next. Cyclone 2's our processor. Pin count's 484 to slim the list, and we should be 2C20F484C7. That's our processor, and it has to be that, otherwise it will not be happy. Okay, so once we have everything up, we should have the hierarchy is OR gate W. Everything needs to match, so that needs to be OR gate W, and our file needs to be OR gate W VHD. So let's open that up, and I've gone into Tools, Options, and I changed the font. So if you go here to Font, and I'm making it 18. You could do whatever you want, but that's the way that I use that. So we have a very large, easier to see. Okay, so here is our VHDL program that I've already given you. Okay, so here's a standard syntax. We have to keep this name, our entity. All these got to match. They got to match the hierarchy, they got to match the file, and they got to match that. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, so if you start getting CDF files, that means that some way or another it's not in sync. It needs to be cleaned up. Good. So first thing we have is our inputs, A and B. Okay, and our output is LED, and it's much better to use letters when you're doing this instead of the switch names and things like that. So we'll just go ahead and stick with that. And this down here is our VHDL equation. Okay, not A or not B. Well, we have an inverter, and since our switches have pull-ups and we will get a low when we do it, we're going to make that not to make it activate like a OR gate. So let's go ahead and go up to this little triangle here, and we're going to start. Or we go to processing and go to start compilation. Either one will work. Okay, so green and blue are good. If you start getting red or errors, that's a problem. Don't worry about warnings. Most warnings are harmless. 12 warnings, that just means that we can make it better, faster. So we don't care about that. We only have 2 gates. We have 175,000 in there to worry about. So we're not going to. So let's go back home. And we have our compilation report. So let's go into our pin planner. And the reason I compile it early is it should populate our pin planner. And it does. Okay, so there's a couple ways we could populate this. So LED is going to be R20. So let's go to location, find the drop down arrow, and we're going to go all the way to pin R20. Okay, and we're going to come over here to reserved, and we're going to make that, since it's an output, we're going to make an output drive in VCC. Okay, that's one way. Another way is to use our map here. So our A is going to be R21. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to R and up from 21 and double click on that. Alright, and if we go up over here, it's pointed us where it is. So we could go here, our drop down menu, and it's going to allow us to pick our pin and our reserve. So we're going to do input tri-stated. Okay, and it should populate it. And let's go to the other one. B is going to be R22. Let's click on that. Make that B. Input tri-stated. Good. And oops. Let's go back. R22, and I wrote over it, didn't I? Yes, I did. So let's go back to 21. Sorry about that. And that should be B. And that should be input tri-stated. So we got our buttons backwards, but it's an OR gate, doesn't matter. So we got R21 for B, R22 for A, R20. Okay, and we have output for drive in VCC and our input tri-stated. Good. So let's compile it again. And compiling takes our text file, which is our VHDL file, and it takes our pin names that we assigned, and it turns it into a compiled program that our board will understand. Okay, so we could program this now, and we have this little symbol up here. It looks like something's being cooked, programmer, or we go to processing and go to tools, and we go to programmer. Okay, And the file should be automatically uploaded. Okay. If it is, let's delete it and go find it. So if it doesn't come, we're going to go to Add File. And we need to go to our folder that's on our desktop. And there's going to be a group of output files. We need to grab the SOF file. So if it doesn't populate, we need to go to the folder and find it. Okay. So hardware setup. There might be no hardware. Just go ahead and go to the down list. We're going to go to USB blaster, and on my first video on the Cyclone board, I show you how to find that driver file if it's missing. Okay, so close. So good. We've got our USB blaster. We got our file. So let's just push start. If we get green 100% successful, that means it's programmed. And if the lights change and stop flashing on your board, that's good. Okay, let's program this. And our lights flashing went away, so let's try our OR gate. So switch 1, red LED. Switch 2, red LED. Both switch 0 and 1. LED. So it's working just like a OR gate.